I signed with the Western Mass Pioneers when I was 23 years old, exactly. 23 years old. I played for a tournament, an indoor tournament. It was a money tournament. Your part is just as important, even if it doesn't mean that your name's in the headlines. Yeah. So it taught me a lot. So after that, I had a sports agent coming out of college. So there was a guy that came and watched me play, and one of the better games that I played, he had heard about me. And he wanted to represent me, and he wanted me to go down to New Orleans to play. Baton Rouge, I forgot what it was. And they were a farm team for one of the MLS teams, whatever they were back then. And I told, I had two choices. It was make that move or play for the Pioneers. And I chose to play for the local Western Mass Pioneers. And it's because at that time I had a girlfriend that I'd been dating for a while. And for some reason I was just scared to leave everything.
So you give up that opportunity?
I gave up that opportunity. I'd given up an opportunity prior when I went to Portugal earlier in my life, but I was still young.
This is before high school? Or?
Yeah, I was 14 years old. I went over there. Sporting wanted me to try out, wanted me to stay. I said, no, I'm not leaving my family. Are you kidding me? The difference between me and the Cristiano Ronaldo is that he would. Messi, they would, But I didn't come from poverty. They did. Difference. So once again, I chose to stay instead of going. And we were horrible. We were horrible. We had a losing mentality. It was the complete opposite of what I was used to. I was used to being a winner. And we were a team, and not by choice, but it was just, playing for the Western Mass Pioneers at that time meant that we were going to practice twice a week when everybody else practices 4 or 5 times a week, plays on the weekends. And yeah, I got paid pretty good money to play. But whenever we played games, we played against teams that I thought were just, number one, better than us, and number two, more prepared than us, and then number three, wanted to win. When we would go there and we'd be like, listen, let's do our best to get a point. And it was just like, that mentality never sat well with me. And, I'll preach this lesson to my son. If you want to be something, you got to go to where that opportunity is. Because if you stay in the same spot, you're always going to get the same results. So even though I was a local superstar, hung around with a lot of the same people that I went to school with, at this point, they were either working construction, or some of them, the cool kids got into drugs, alcohol. This pattern of lifestyle that you get yourself into when you kind of don't have a purpose anymore, the mundane life.
I definitely want to highlight that point you just made. So basically, we were comfortable, is the way I'm kind of sensing. I was comfortable in this scenario.
Yeah.
If I had gone to another state, or if I had gone overseas, there was opportunity, as you stated, but I'm uncomfortable now.
Exactly.
Would that have affected my play? Would that have affected who I am personally? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And so now you make the decision after Franklin here to come back to Ludlow, Massachusetts.
Yep.
Be around family. You're definitely a local star at this point. Folks know you.
Yeah.
And you're playing for what I would say is a decent team. Even to this day, they're really good.
Yeah.
They got some really talented players.
Yeah.
And the club is top notch. And so I get it. You feel that sense like, why do I have to go out and achieve something greater? I've already done it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So now you're back in Massachusetts, Ludlow. You got friends and family, maybe acquaintances that you may have run into in the past, and they're coming up in your life, and now they may be pulling you in one direction or the next.
Of course. So that was exactly the right way to describe that situation, is to be uncomfortable meant that I would have to I would have to give everything. I would have to start all over. I would have to try. I would have to try out again. I'd have to prove myself all over again. And without the support of my family, without the support of maybe my girlfriend, without people there kind of to stroke, I guess, my ego, so to say, and say everything's going to be okay, without that, being able to do that, you know, those type of decisions that I made ultimately ended up bringing me to a place where, yeah, it was cool. I was local star. And some of those guys that never did anything after high school are watching me play on TV a couple months prior. Now I'm playing over here in the stadium in front of, you know, we used to get 5, 6, 7,000 people at every single game.
Yeah.
I'm getting paid money to play soccer. In their mind, some of those guys hanging out with me was probably something that would look good on them. So everybody, you know, I had a lot of friends. And by all means, when I say that the Pioneers, like, we weren't good, it wasn't because we didn't have good players. We had phenomenal players, but you still have to train, and we didn't have the resources at that time in order to make like we have now, where we have a training facility. We didn't have that. We were practicing out in Berlin, Connecticut. I was working, you know, I was doing roofing as a summer job and playing soccer at, you know, getting off a roof, going home for a couple hours, and going to practice at 10 o'clock at night till 12 o'clock, get up, be on a roof again.
Yeah.
So, you know, the other teams didn't have to do that. Those guys would be camped out for a whole summer, play soccer, and they'd be making good money, but it would be every day. So I started to, you know, things just started to slowly fall apart for me. And
let me just make sure we understand the timeline. So you've done your 4 years collectively in college.
Yep.
Now, right away, you're back in the mix of Ludlow.
Yep.
So year 5, technically. Right? Okay. Now we know kind of where you're at. I would say, what, 23, 20?
Exactly.
Right.
I signed with the Western Mass Pioneers when I was 23 years old, exactly. 23 years old, I played for a tournament, an indoor tournament. It was a money tournament. I played fantastic. We ended up winning the tournament. It was against all D1 and pro indoor teams. We ended up winning that tournament. They signed me right after. Then, you know, still being that local star. Now you're partying every single weekend. Don't necessarily have a job yet because I'm just kind of fresh out of college. So I'm playing soccer, and, you know, I got, you know, friends that are, you know, working construction. A couple of them are into some things. And let me remind you, a lot of them weren't just friends that just came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Friends that I played soccer with in high school. You know, 5 years, 4 years go by, and maybe they're in the same spot, but now I'm back here. And it's like, you know, I'm mentally, you would think I would be in a different time, and I should be, different area, different space, but then you come back and you hang out with your friends, and now you go back to high school again.
Old habits creep in.
Old habits.
All right, man. So get back into the swing. You're back in Ludlow. You're technically, you know, 5th year after high school. You just finished with, well, first you finished with Helms. Then you got a chance to go play at Franklin Pierce. You guys win a national championship. You're on TV. You have an opportunity to go south to Louisiana. You turn that down for some family and friends.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're playing with the Portuguese club.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where things start to get juicy. Familiarities are coming in from the folks you've seen in the past.
Yeah. So, you know, one thing about basically this situation is, although I left and went away to school, I always seemed to dwindle back. This is like my comfort zone. You know, I'd come back every few weekends or something from New Hampshire. And, you know, once that was done and the opportunity to leave and go down to a different state and south, completely away from my family, completely away from my friends, once that presented itself, you know, part of me was just like, oh no, I can't do that. I didn't necessarily have the confidence, I guess, and I didn't want to be uncomfortable and alone, and that kept me here. And I played for the Western Mass Pioneers, and that seemed like that's good enough for me, And I remember my coach, John Amaral at the time, when I actually turned the deal down to go down to New Orleans. He said, Mike, if you pass up this opportunity, he's like, you might as well just hang it up. So he told me this, and I didn't listen. And played couple seasons with them, but every single year my attitude just kind of got worse and worse. And then what had happened is I got a job over at Monsanto, St. Lucia, getting paid good money. I'm about 26 now, 25, turning 26. Couple seasons with the Pioneers, couple decent seasons. Now I got a job. Say it's about 2012, 2011, 2012. Okay. I got this job now, and I'm playing soccer. On the outside, it looks good, right? On paper. I had at the time, I had a very, very good girlfriend, beautiful girlfriend. She was the one that was with me basically throughout all this. And, we ended up breaking up. Broke me. Broke me to the point where after a few months, I quit playing soccer. Like, my play just went down. By I won't say the grace of God, but this company called Eastman came and bought out the company that I was working for. And because I was a newer employee, they kept their employees, and then they gave us all packages that kept us good for a little bit. But at the end of the day, it was like they kind of let us go. And I was in a position that it was just like, damn. Like, in one instance, I feel like I just lost everything.